Привет, друзья. Would you like to learn the dative case with me? I don't care because you are anyway.
Привет, друзья, and welcome to the Russian Reader. And as you may have already guessed it from the title, today we're talking about the
Did I
dative.
lose my voice or something?
But first I wanted to tell you a few words about the very name of the dative case. Why is it called dative? The
That
name
is a
of this
good
case
question.
actually comes from the Latin verb which means to give. So literally dative case means the giving case. And that's basically its meaning in all the languages that you may encounter. Dative case in, Latin, German, Russian.
Give me the thing.
It's all going to have to do with giving. And the reason it's called the giving case is because the verb to give actually is probably the most common verb that is used with the dative case. And this actually takes us to the meaning, the primary meaning of the dative case, which is indirect object. And if you have already seen our video on the accusative case, you must already know what the direct object is, right? Which is the primary meaning of the accusative case. So again, the dative case is the indirect object, right? So what is the difference between the direct object and the indirect object? And the verb to give is actually going to help us see this difference, right? So if you're giving, right, if you perform the action of giving, you can give something, some object, and then you can give it to someone, right, to usually a person, right? So in other words, you give someone something, or you can also say you give something to someone, right? So the object of your giving, the actual object that you give off to someone, is going to be the direct object, right? Because you literally perform a direct action to the object, right? You act upon the object, you literally pick it up and you give it to someone, right? So that's your direct object. And then the person that you're giving it to is going to be the indirect object, because that person is going to be indirectly affected by your action. So you're not doing anything directly to that person, right? But rather you're doing something that that person somehow is indirectly affected by. So let's look at this example. I gave the dog water, right? I gave the dog water. You can also say it in English as I gave water to the dog, right? Either way, it has the exact same meaning. So in this sentence, I is of course the subject.
Don't ask what I'm doing. It's something absolutely unimportant. Oh, there's one viewer. I wonder who that is. Might be me. Oh, plus 22 subscribers. Oh wait, that's streaming. Did that stream actually get anything? I'm surprised the previous one got 10 views. It was just me reading most. That's his name now. Okay, some dude I know, yeah, pretty cool. Changed his name. I'm going to save watching this for later.
Gave.
I was reading comments and finding this one dude I know. What happened? I was reading comments on the stream I did like 6 hours ago, I think it was. And apparently, I've progressed a lot. I don't write down my progress as I probably should, but I don't think I've progressed that much. What I've known how to do now is conjugate verbs and make a bit of nouns.
Is the verbs or the actions, right?
Fine,
and then water is going to be the direct object, right? Because it's the object that you directly act upon, right? You do something directly to the water.
I gave water. Doesn't make sense on its own. I gave the dog. Also doesn't make sense on its own.
Right? You pick it up or you pour it, right? And then you give it to someone, right? And then the dog, or to the dog, right, is going to be the indirect object because you're not doing anything directly to the dog, right? You're not really...
So dative could be to. You could imagine it like that.
Touching.
I do like that this guy's video shows you when to use it and also how to add it to the maps.
Dog or anything, right? You simply give something to the dog, so the dog is the recipient or the beneficiary of sorts of your action, right? Indirectly.
Quite useful.
So the dog is going to be the indirect object and is going to be put in the dative case. Like, for example, if you were to give the dog to someone, right, as an object, so instead of saying, I gave the dog water, right, you would say, I gave the dog to my wife, for example, right? I gave the dog to my wife. Then the dog becomes the direct object because you literally pick up the dog and you give the dog to someone, right? So in that sentence, I gave the dog to my wife. The dog would be the direct object, and then my wife would be the indirect object, right? But again, if we give something to the dog, right, and we say I gave the dog water, then the dog is the indirect object, and then water is the direct object, right? But again, in English, in both cases, you could say I gave the dog to my wife versus I gave the dog water. So literally, I gave the dog sounds exactly the same, right? But from the Russian perspective, they would be two different types of objects and two different cases.
Right.
So yes, guys, this is the primary meaning of the dative case, indirect object. So a lot of subject action or barely, but that's affected by that direct action. The dative to or for, so you do something.
I did this. I robbed the bank for some weird association. Now, the weird association would be in dative case, right?
To someone or for someone, right? But in Russian, again, you're not going to have a preposition. You're just going to put your noun in the dative case. So, besides give, which in Russian, by the way, is dat, what are some other verbs that you will see commonly used with dative? So, a few other common verbs that you will see used with dative and that I will use in this video are, for example, подарить, which means to give something as a gift. We have a specific verb for it. In English, you could translate it as to gift, right?
Yeah.
Then сказать, to say or to tell someone. Купить, to buy. Звонить, to call. So you can see that all of these verbs, right, to give, to buy, to say, to call, to recommend, we can use them all with a recipient, right? With a person, we can do all those things to or for a person. And of course, all of those verbs can and will oftentimes have direct objects, right? We can buy something for someone, we can give something as a gift to someone, right? We can say something to someone, right? We can recommend something to someone. So all of those verbs
so dative is what you're doing it to or for.
Have direct objects. Well, except for call, right? We can call, if we call someone on the phone, usually that would not be a direct object. But a lot of those verbs, yeah, they will have a direct object, but you can see to receive, right? With some outcome video or masculine, so dative is no exception. All other cases, pretty much in Russian, masculine and neuter forms, gender, they share the same ending, right?
That's nice.
So dative is no exception. Masculine and neuter gender nouns have the same ending in dative, and it is
Cool.
u or sometimes you. So let's look at a couple of examples. Друг, a friend.
I assume it has something to do
in
with
dative.
hardness, softness, and what was it? That 8 level, I think it is. The one that says that you can't go after Vila's syllabants and
Dative case would become другу,
другу,
right? Which would mean to a
Другу.
friend or for a friend, right?
другу,
Brat
брат,
would become
брату,
bratu, right? And for example, a proper name John would become Jonu. And it's very
John.
difficult to think of an example of an animate noun in the neuter gender. And again, in this meaning, in its primary meaning, dative case is always pretty much always going to be animate nouns, right? People or creatures or pets. So just to give you an example, just for grammar purposes, let's take a neuter noun, молоко.
oh
Right?
milk,
It's not
молоко.
an animate noun, but if you were to put it in dative,
Put the
it would
stress
take the
markers,
same
please.
ending as the
Your,
masculine noun.
your videos,
Would
your videos are great. These are very helpful. Please put stress marks.
be u. So
Or capitalization works too. Doc need just capitalizes and it helps a ton.
the dative cases would become молоко. And
Молоко.
feminine nouns in the dative case take the same ending as the prepositional ending.
Oh,
okay?
prepositional.
If you remember, nouns of all three genders in the prepositional case take the same ending. Yeah, right?
Oh,
You can
yeah.
watch our video on the prepositional case if you haven't seen it.
I did not.
And I don't know if it's helping you or maybe confusing you more, but
Actually, did I?
feminine nouns in the dative case take the exact same ending as
Like always, yeah. Actually, no, that does actually make sense to me.
the prepositional nouns.
Oh, so mom would be mommy. Sabaka. I think that's what. Sabaka would be sabaki. Goshka would be
Feminine
goshka.
or all other cases, right? Which is yeah. Let's look
Yeah.
at some examples. Mama will
Mommy.
become mamia, which would mean to one's mom or for one's mom, right? Жена would become жене, the wife, right? To the wife or for the wife. And a proper name, for example, Irina, right?
Irina.
Would become
Irina.
Irinia if you do something for or to Irina. And let's just look at a few examples so you can see how dative works in some simple sentences using the verbs that I pre-taught you a couple of minutes ago in this video. And the example I already used in the beginning, I gave the dog water. In Russian would be я дал собаке воду, right?
Воду.
So
Not vadu, that's in hell.
собаке is the dative case, right? It's a feminine noun, собака.
Dal. What? That's a bit strange, isn't it? Dal. Oh, nice. Past tense.
Used in the
Oh.
dative case. So
Ah.
again, it takes the ending yeah.
Dal.
And then
And also
vodu in this
the
sentence is the
vodu.
direct object because you literally
Yeah, also bake
gave
vodu.
it as a direct
Sabake
object
vodu.
to the dog, and we put it in the accusative case, and the feminine dal sab to the dog. The gift, common verb in Russian. I know in English you generally say I gave someone something for their birthday, you would just say gave, right? But in Russian, we actually use that verb quite commonly if you would made a gift. All right. So our example here is я подарил жене цветы, right? I gave or I gifted literally my wife flowers, right? And again, in Russian, you don't have to say my wife. It's kind of clear that it's your wife, right? You don't generally use possessive pronouns unless you have to. Цветы, example, Michael.
Michael сказал другу привет.
Told the fool, gave the igу. All right, this looks very interesting because both our objects have the same ending, u, right? But if you know the grammar, you know that, well, of course, the sentence means Marina bought for the son a book, or in English it would say she bought her son a book, or she bought a book for her son, right? But sinu, of course, is the masculine noun used in the dative case, which, as we know, takes a ending u, right? Sin becomes sinu. And then nigu is the feminine noun in the accusative case, which is a direct object in the sentence. So kniga becomes nigu in the accusative case. That's why they both have the same ending, but it's completely different. And different cases with different genders. So
Okay. I think I forgot about the accusative feminine. I think I might have to actually re-watch some of these a few times. Because, yeah. It was that the in singular, inanimate, they remain the same unless it's feminine, which then adds u.
again, music is the direct object. Side with the nominative key.
Okay, yeah.
So what do I mean by coincide?
Inanimate.
I mean plural nouns look exactly the same in both nominative and accusative. But you may also know that some feminine nouns
Yeah, you. Okay. Only professional.
Привет, друзья, and welcome to the Russian Readers channel.
Привет, друзья.
And in today's video, we're continuing to talk about cases, and we're going to look at the prepositional case. And if you look at the way cases traditionally are listed in the Russian grammar, and to remind you what endings
Oh, yeah,
use the case, what is its meaning, case so easy is that in or neuter,
They always
if your noun as a location, you know, you're saying, for example, you are in a place, right? You live in a prepositional case. In fact, some people even refer to the preposition. So let's look at some examples in all three genders so you can see exactly how the prepositional case.
So prepositional case, just add just use ye. That's useful. Hello there, one concurrent viewer. Okay. Instrumental. That's not weird.
Я пью чай с сахаром. Я гуляю с собакой. Я пишу ручкой. Привет, друзья! Welcome to Russian Readers, and in today's video we're going to be talking
So instrumental case is like using a or with a, right?
about the instrumental case. And as I always tell you, whenever we're learning a case, we need to look at its meaning and at its form. So let's do that. So, as it's easy to get from its name, the instrumental case is used with nouns that
What the hell is going on? Apparently,
that are
some sort
used as an instrument or a tool in a sentence. For example, if you say, I cut bread with a knife, right? So the knife in this case is a tool. So in Russian, you would have to put it in the instrumental case. Another example is I write with a pen, right? So the word pen is used.
Oh, second viewer. Nice.
As a tool or as an instrument. So again, in Russian, you would have to put it in the instrumental case. And well, you notice that when we use something as a tool, even in English, right, we use the preposition with, right? And the truth is that the instrumental case in Russian kind of went beyond its original use, which is using something as a tool. And by association, in Russian, we simply use the instrumental case pretty much any time we use the preposition with, even if we're not using something as a tool. For example, if you say, I drink tea with sugar, right? In this sentence, you're not using sugar as an instrument or a tool, but you're still using the preposition with. And again, by association, anytime you see the preposition with in Russian, which, by the way, in Russian is s, right? Just one letter, s. Sometimes it can be so, right? You pretty much always use the instrumental case. You put the noun following that preposition in the instrumental case. For example, in the sentence, I drink tea with sugar, the noun sugar would be in the instrumental case simply because it's used with the preposition with, which in Russian again is s. Again, even though technically sugar is not the tool in the sentence. Other common examples would be I drink coffee with milk, right? So milk would be an instrumental case. I eat chicken with rice, right? Rice would be an instrumental case. I walk with the dog, so the dog would be an instrumental case. Or I speak with a friend, or with anyone, even with proper names, right? With John, with Michael, with Jessica, right? Even proper names you would have to put in the instrumental case if they follow the preposition with. And technically, instrumental has a couple of other uses, but in this video we're only going to be talking about these two major uses. So using a noun as a tool or an instrument, or simply using a noun with other nouns in the instrumental case. Masculine and neuter nouns. And when it comes to cases, most of the time, masculine and neuter both, right? Sugar in the nominative would become сахаром in the instrumental, would become другом. The instrumental would become Иваном, or with.
Карандаш, карандашем.
Ivan would be с Иваном. And нож, for example, if you're using something as a tool, a knife, right? Нож would become ножом in the instrumental. And a couple of neuter examples, and again, neuter nouns take the exact same ending as masculine. So, for example, молоко would become молоком, or with milk would be с молоком, or масло, right, butter or oil would become маслом, or literally with butter would become с маслом. So what about feminine nouns? Feminine nouns take the ending ой. For example, собака becomes собакой in the instrumental case.
Okay, I just want to check. So begins. What? S. You see so in any word. V, L, R, M, S, Z, Sh, Ž. Followed by consonant. J followed by consonant. All the shit. What? I'm so confused. Fall of the jazz. That's insane. So and so involved a word with a single syllable starting, with more than one consonant. Starting with more than one consonant, ending with a vowel. What? I do not understand that. What? Во вторник. Yesterday. Russian exchange. How many different stack exchanges are there? I'm gonna ask Copilot.
So with the dog would be с собакой, right? Девушка девушкой, with the girl, с девушкой, right? Proper name, for example, Marina would become Мариной, or with Marina would become с Мариной. Картошка, right? Potato would become картошкой.
Huh. Potatoes are feminine. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so according to Coppolat, saw is just used to make it easy to pronounce. Slowborn is a slowborn. Like if it starts with more than one consonant, I guess.
Or с картошкой. Ручка, a pen. If you write with a pen, you would say ручкой, right? Or ложка, a spoon, would become ложкой if you're saying with a spoon. I will also mention that you might see a couple of other endings for singular nouns and instrumental. For example, if your noun ends in one of those weird hissing consonants, you know, like zh, sh, ch, ch, right? The endings will actually be yem instead of om for masculine and neuter, or ye instead of oi for feminine. You know, for example, muž is husband, right? With the husband, you would say s mužem, or you know, the name Natasha. In the instrumental case would become not s Natasha.
I think that's because of that one rule that changes all to ye.
But s Natasha, right? And there are a couple of other endings possible, but we're trying to keep things simple for now. So just remember the om for masculine and neuter, and oi for feminine, and again, they cover 90 to 95% of all scenarios.
Okay. Okay. I would like to do this.
Okay, this isn't my typical video. I'm not going to actually teach you anything in this video.
Really?
This is just a follow-up video to this video right here, where I teach you when to use the accusative case. And at the end of that video, I said, hey, if you're still not quite getting it, you're just listening to the playlist.
Playlist.
Would go into the accusative.
TikTok.
So
The song.
I am deleting the article. The article.
Coffee.
Are you looking for a
Meme.
Meme.
Newspaper. Okay.
Accusative case. Okay, these are going to be the inner, and then continue.
Pen.
Accusative case. Did you send grandma an email?
Grandma. Wait, no. Email.
What did you write? You wrote an email. It's not, it's already a
Tea.
out sugar. We ordered pizza for,
Pizza.
you may be thinking, or what's money on renovations?
Money. I'm not spending
On renovations, and house here.
Cheese.
The preposition, the question, on not why.
News.
Who into the accusative case, because political news does answer the question who or what. Political, in this case, would be an adjective. It's with a noun. It's still going to, with a suspicious freak.
Did you see the man who was standing by me? Man and suspicious briefcase? Wait, no. Man and exit.
Who or what did you see? The man. Everything
just
else in this sentence goes to describe something about the man. Who was standing by the exit? Okay, that answers the question where.
Okay. Nice. Sovietsky will be Soviets. Cartoons. Okay. Multfilmi. Yes, plural.
Это склеились, он ничей. Он летает. Это замечательно.
They're animated pretty well.
Пап, давай возьмем Склиса. Я буду на нем в школу летать.
Well, как хочешь, давай.
I think I need something that's not actually automatic subtitles. I need something that's actual subtitles. Ой. Языковой. Языковой. What is языковой?
Языковой.
Языковой.
Ой! Ребята, всем привет, меня...
Языковой. Я понял. Я смотрел. Р. Языковой. Also an adjective.
Ой! Ребята, всем привет,
Привет, привет. There's an...
меня зовут... Language Sim,
Oh,
yes,
Brandon.
Америки. И
Yes,
сегодня я
Америки.
объясню вам, как правильно произносить вот... Ой! Ребята, всем привет,
Привет, всем привет. Я всем привет.
меня зовут... Language Sim, yes, Америки.
Меня зовут Language Sim из Америки.
И сегодня я объясню вам, как правильно произносить вот эту букву в русском языке. Это самая сложная буква из всех...
Язык. What is the definition? Языки. Why then? Why is there two? That's stupid.
языков, которые я выучил. У меня...
Которые. He's forgetting what которые. Oh, which?
Yes, Америки. И сегодня я объясню вам, как правильно произносить вот эту букву в русском языке. Это самая сложная буква из всех языков, которые я выучил. У меня даже много другов
У меня тоже много другов.
из России, у которых проблемы с произношением этой буквы. Это просто кошмар, блядь.
Кошмар. Это...
Слов, которые я выучил. У меня даже много другов из России, у которых проблемы с произношением этой буквы. Это просто кошмар,
кошмар.
блядь.
Это просто кошмар.
Это просто кошмар.
Это просто кошмар, блядь.
Давайте начнем.
Давайте начнем.
Давайте начнем.
Why is he pronounce it like Is it seven syllable?
Из России, у которых проблемы с произношением этой буквы. Это просто кошмар, блядь.
Это просто кошмар, блядь. Давайте
начнем. Это было бы
Начнем.
проще для меня объяснить это на татарском, поэтому
Татарском.
давайте поговорим на татарском.
Языковой
симп. Татарский такой
Языковой симп.
редкий и сложный язык. Это правда, что ты говоришь на нем?
Опять.
It's
Салям.
hard. Title. Татар язык. Язык. Seems that there is a taste of land.
Нет, я шучу. К сожалению, не говорю по-татарски, but I do speak freedom language.
Но я говорил по-американски. Capital.
So to pronounce this here letter
In order to произнести вот эту букву по-русски, просто скажите. Just say.
Russian, you just said.
Скажите. Сказать. Imperfective plural. Really?
Эй?
Уй.
Ой!
What?
Ой.
It's definitely not.
Это точно нет. Уй. definitely not ui.
Ui. It's not ui. It's
Ui.
You just said the same thing.
Ты сейчас сказал самой. Тоже. Вот самой. Самое.
Самое.
Самое. Ты сейчас сказал то же самое. Он сказал. Past tense singular masculine. You just said same thing, Peter.
no. This is ui, and this is
Ui!
All right, use the letter in a sentence.
ui. Дура, как Дора.
Oh, I understand.
No, I'm kidding.
You're so true. It's not ui, it's oi! No, it's ui. Hello there, one singular concurrent vowel.
The real pronunciation of the letter is
Bukvoi. I say that means letter. Letter. It's amazing how dramatic this is. I think that might actually be the closest to the real or whatever it's like.
Привет, друзья! My name is Fedor. Welcome to the channel that is all about helping
Wow,
people
this is
speak
old.
Russian. And today we're gonna tackle a really complex particle, which is «же». It's really complex, but it's very intuitive. So for me, I had a hard time trying to explain what it means, because to me, I just say it naturally and I don't give
So he's a
any
native,
thoughts to it. That's why I had to dig deep and find what it means and give it all to you guys. So
Like how English speakers don't know what the hell a case is, even though they literally have in their personal pronouns.
let's get to it. Particle «же».
Же.
It has multiple
Oh! Handwritten block! Oh!
meanings, guys. And I want to give it all to you in one video. I don't want to separate it because once you watch this video, you can be over. This particle can be over with. Okay? So let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Oops. Oh my gosh, this J came on the sheet, but it's okay.
Oh,
So the first meaning, the first usage of it is in contrast. Contrast means something, but something else. So this is the contrast when one thing is contrasting with something else. I'm going to give you guys examples so it can be easier to understand. This sheet looks so messy, guys. I'm so sorry, but it's okay. Я играю в теннис. I play tennis. Мой папа же играет в хоккей. While my father plays hockey. So this meaning would mean something like while in English. For example, I like cats while she likes dogs. Okay? And we're gonna use же for it. Okay? So I play tennis while my father plays hockey. So же in this meaning is gonna mean while. And notice how I put this particle. I put it after the subject. This is one of the rare cases when the order of the words matters. So after the subject right here, we put the particle же. Okay. Next one is она купила мороженое. Я же хотел торт. She bought an ice cream while I wanted a cake. You can see there is
Мороженое. I assume that's both accusative and nominative. Мороженое. Мороженое. Oh, there's only one N. Мороженое. Okay, so it's both an adjective and a noun. Weird. Is this русский? Or is this a different language? No, this is the русский. Мороженое. Мороженое.
Мороженое.
Мороженое. That sounds Russian.
There's a contradiction in this sentence. While she bought ice cream while I wanted a cake.
Yeah, so
Okay,
still
so this is contrast.
Or yet.
As you can see in the title, contrast. We are contrasting two things. So, once again, я is a subject and I put je article right after it. Notice this pattern. Notice this order. I hope that you kind of grasp the idea of this meaning, but let's use the last example in the contrast topic. На улице холодно, тут же тепло. On the street or outside, it is cold, while here, warm. While here, it is warm. You know that we don't have a to be verb, so we just say тепло, which means warm.
That's cool.
Once again, холодно
Okay, so
is cold.
It's wild. Hello there, other viewer who I assume replaced the other one that was left. I want to check, what's the grind? What did he say that the grind is? It was just during the thing, right? Copperlot. And Copperlot can go easy now. There it is. The Hyperpolyglot Handbook. This might actually be illegal. I'm not going to show this. There's piracy or something, I don't know. Apparently the 10 Commandments, according to языковой is ensure the learning process is fun, yeah. Learn one language at a time, yeah. Don't learn a language for the wrong reason. I don't think I am. I like the language and I like the music and I don't know. Focus on what is important. I don't think the grammar is important, but it definitely helps. Learning one thing a day. Yeah, I'm learning the grammar, I guess. Speak from day one. Yeah, I speak. I'm not good at it. Anyway. I still speak. Laugh at your own mistakes. I laugh at my mistakes. Yeah, like the Я пью воду thing. That was funny. Diversify your input. Language sim, you are not diverse. You are not diverse. And use Duolingo. I do use Duolingo. I don't really like it. It's a good book. I haven't even gone. I haven't finished it, but still really like it. What is that sound? I don't like that sound. Drop the ego. Okay, speaking practice. I think I do need to read at least some of it for now. Alright. The evolution of the GigaChad method. I think this is quite a nice graph of progress and time. Your progress kind of just stagnates at some point. Then you somehow get burst to fluency. I think that's a pretty cool graph. Yeah, phase 1 is quite rewarding. You should continue using the good child love method. The core is 80% versus 20% of the words in a given language. It's not bad. I previously advised you to use the most commonly. 20. You need to start focusing on 20% of the words. More niche words and phrases. No one can. Concrete. Complacency. Seasonalness is around the very high concrete overall. Okay. I read so slowly. This must be so boring for you because I'm just a blank screen. Investigate everything you do not understand. Okay. I do want to see what he says about speaking. Diversify your input. Also, that's also something I need. New methods. Keep the process fresh and fun by switching things up sometimes. Podcasts. Study with music. Eligible speaking practice. Okay, finally, that's something I think I really need, because my speaking is terrible. It's not as bad as my overall skills in the language, but it's still terrible. Freestyle TED Talks. Wow. Yeah, speak to someone you know, I guess. Speaking with humans in phase 2 is arguably the most rewarding thing a language learner can do. Your phase 2, you could continue using Discord or whatever platform you prefer to speak in partners. If that is in real life, good for you. But keep in mind that you absolutely do not want to speak do not need to speak a language in real life to become fluent at all in it. Online speaking partners are just as good, if not better, than living, breathing speakers are in front of you. It's the short and spontaneous online ability. Drop the ego. Decent usable inflated ego and greater fear of messing up and making fool yourself. Okay. Nice. Oh, I lost a viewer, that's so sad. Okay. Correct. I'm working off home stuff. That's a nice shirt.
Я собираюсь совершить самую большую ошибку в своей жизни. Всем привет и добро пожаловать на мой канал. Для тех, кто не знает, меня зовут Language Simp. Я из the United States of America. И я учу русский язык. Хоть я неплохо говорю по-русски, но все равно делаю много ошибок, не знаю всех слов, говорю как тупой американский патриот и так далее и тому подобное. Но это все ничего, мне все равно. Как вы, наверное, знаете, моя самая большая проблема в том, что я не могу произнести одну букву. Чтобы решить эту проблему, я решил вести 24-часовой стрим, в котором буду повторять эту букву, чтобы правильно ее выучить. Я смогу остановить ее только в том случае, если настоящая Дора появится на стриме и остановит меня. So I will see you this Saturday at about 10 a.m. New York time. That's same as Florida time, maybe Alabama. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I don't really care. So yeah.
Oh, so that's what it was, announcing that thing. Okay. A comprehensible input. Okay. I wonder what he's talking about in here.
Hello and welcome. If you listen to this video every night while falling asleep, you will speak English like a native. English religion. Verify fat, spoil sniff. Successful market exchange is dump and fat like lettuce.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to some music because apparently that helps learning languages. And I'm gonna listen to what's popular, which is Dora apparently. I feel like if I listen to her most popular video, I'll have more words I can understand. Probably not, but whatever. And then, cute rock. Malish. This is cute rock, Malish. Ah. It's cute rock, baby. Malish. Malicious, baby, okay. York. Apparently this is her most viewed video, apparently. Okay, then I'll watch that. I don't think I'll like any of her music. But, okay, whatever. Let's go. Oh wait. Are there subtitles? I'm going to immediately click off of any video that does not have subtitles. Dora, if you want me to listen to your content, which I probably don't even know exists, if you want me to watch, then just get subtitles. Go back to capsule. Because, actually no, let's go to a podcast to see what words I can pick out. I don't know. What do you mean we are relaunching? Did you stop it at some point? Let's go, I don't really do fighting. And Russia trust no one. Most popular gang. That sounds useful. Hello there, second concurrent viewer.
Прятки, ляпы,
Догонялки, салки.
Казаки-разбойники.
в городки.
Майнкрафт.
GTA 5.
Мы постоянно в футбол рубились.
Двор проходишь родной, вспоминаешь, вот эта ностальгия по детству.
Привет, дорогие друзья, и добро пожаловать в новый выпуск Easy Russian. Знаете, что вот такой вот ножик в моем детстве практически каждый ребенок брал с собой на улицу, когда шел гулять. Но нет, не думайте,
Okay,
это...
does not seem to be working. Let's go back to Katusha. I forgot that I wasn't typing in Russian. Let's go back to the girl and see what looks I can pick up. Okay, I don't know why I said girl like that. She's quite old. By quite old, I mean... Let's see. $23. I don't know why it took me that long to figure out what 11 plus 12 is. She didn't seem to say the S in ts. She didn't even say the... I don't think she said the ts or. She doesn't... She seems to not pronounce that ooh. Probably. I think she just said probably. People are saying that language since ooey is incorrect. I sound like an ooey. A tiny bit like an ooey to me. Yeah, that sounds like an ooey. Fairly sure it is just I don't think it's ooh. Fairly sure it's but close enough to ooh, I guess. Okay, friend just sent me, not me in particular, some, so, picture of some other dude who's also a friend, saying the N-word. My friends know interesting people. That was a weird friend to call them, by the way. It's quite loud. Oh, they say protovo. Oh, it's another one of those words that the good has to do. Is this Belarusian news? Is that over? Then this might actually be Belarusian news. Did they say Belarus or Belarus? No, it's Belarus. Belarus 3. Why is she holding the microphone so close to her mouth? That sounds like a stupid question, I know. She's practically touching it. Девушка. I think she's девушка. The soldiers look happy. Катюша. Музыка. Блантер. Who is Blantera? Blantera. I keep forgetting that the palatalized sounds like that. Sounds a bit aspirating. Bleed. It was Blantera. Blantera. Here's Blantera. There's a Blantera. Marvy Blanto. Blantera. Слово. Isakova skoga. What? Isakova skoga. Vavskoga. What? Isakovskoga. Ивановского.
Ивановского.
Ивановского. Слово. Music by Marvin Blanter and lyrics by whoever is. I assume it's also Marvy. Something's almost a Marvy. Marvy Ivan Moscovy. What? Solistka. Soloist. Katyusha. Soloist Valeria Kornushkina. What is a Dyuki?